So I made a little spreadsheet thingy about my prediction of how many points each player is going to get. I tried to round tens and fives. It's because it's kind of like if someone does these and they round to like, oh, this person's going to get 13 goals next year. It's kind of like, why? What? How do you know they're going to get exactly 13 goals? I understand if you were like, oh, I think they're going to get 10-ish goals, but they could do a little better, then like, okay, I understand that. But if you just put an odd number to put an odd number, well, then you're kind of just being a contrarian. You're being an asshole, basically. Anyways, enough of that. Let's get to the stupid list I made. So I think Pettersson is going to fucking explode next year. I think he's going to take off from where he was at the end of last year. He was doing very well. And I think he's going to get an above 30 goal season. He's going to fucking blow up. All this depends on like if JT Miller's playing with them, if he's even on the team. And of course how his line mates are doing. There's a lot of new people up on forward, so how is their chemistry going to play out? Of course it all depends on that. Also, I'm doing all this assuming that everyone plays a full 82 game season, which is definitely not going to happen, especially if your name rhymes with Brock Messler. Speaking of which, I think someone named Brock Besser is going to get his first ever 30 goal season. I think he's going to do it this year. I think him and Petey are going to play together and they're going to light it up. Also, you notice with Brock Besser, he has I gave him 40 assists. But he is a very underrated playmaker. He has a lot of passing skill. Now, if JT Miller, if he's on the team still, I gave him about a point a game player, 80 points. I think that's what he is. It's kind of a safe bet with him. Again, I gave him 30 goals, which is fantastic. A little bit of a dip from last year. I don't know. Last year might have been an outlier. But that's not to say 80 points is a bad season at all. You're a superstar if you're getting 80 points in a season. Horvat, I gave him 50 points, but with 30 goals because he is a goal scorer. He's got a great finishing touch, especially when he's on that bumper spot on the power play. He also adds a lot more to the team defensively, and he's one of the best face-off takers in the NHL. Points isn't everything when it comes to determining a player's value, but it kind of is everything when you look at how much players are getting paid. Like Chris Tanev probably deserves $8 million just based on his defensive capabilities. That's very valuable to a team. Connor Garland, I gave him 20 goals, 25 assists. It's decent for a second liner. He kind of lost it at the end of last season. Maybe he doesn't mesh with Boudreau very well, but I still like him. He's a good player. Now Mikheyev. I gave him 15 goals, which isn't bad. He's going to get top 6 minutes, so he's going to put up some points. I think he's going to be a disappointment because that's just based on I think he's a third liner. But hey, I want him to prove me wrong. I want to be that asshole that's mad about being wrong. Because if I'm wrong, that means the Canucks are better. Right? Pearson, depending on where he plays, I gave him 15 goals, 25 points. He might be on the second line again. I think he's going to get bumped down a little bit. He might even see fourth line minutes. Who knows? Boudreau might keep him with Horvat because those two have great chemistry together. Dickinson, I gave him fourth liner points. I think that's what he is. Just another great accomplishment on Jim Benning's part. Lazar, I gave him 10 goals, 15 assists for 25 points. Which I think he's going to play fourth line minutes, and that's actually very good for a fourth liner. Especially pitching in 10 goals, I think he could definitely do that. Plus add in grit and defensive capabilities, being a good penalty killer. I think he'll have a pretty good season. Kuzmenko, I kind of put him in the same boat as Mikheyev, but because there's a huge question mark with Kuzmenko, we don't know if he's going to be any good or not. He's never played a game in the NHL. He might fucking be the next Panarin. He won't. He's not that skilled, but I want him to be. I want it to work out. Yeah, I gave him 15 goals, around 35 points. That'd be good. That'd be a good rookie season. Another thing, if he does perform well, well then you're gonna have to pay him. With what money? Podkolzin. I don't think the sophomore slump is going to be a thing with him. He was improving week by week last year. I think he's going to get 25 goals, 20 assists, 45 points, around that. Good second line numbers. Especially, he seems to be more of a goal scorer than an assist guy. Dowling, whatever, fourth line numbers. Probably won't even play. He'll be a healthy scratch a lot. Hoglander, I think he'll have a better year. I think he'll be over the sophomore slump. And I think he knows his job's on the line here in Vancouver. I decided to be a douchebag and give him 17 goals. This is all depending on how much ice time he gets as well. Lockwood, 15 points. Probably that. About fourth liner numbers. Mixed between third liner. And Dakota Joshua, I don't really know much about Dakota Joshua. I gave him fourth liner numbers, 10 points. He's more of a grit guy. Can fight some dudes, stick up for some dudes. Okay, that's basically what I wanted to say. I'll do defensemen and goalies next. So if you're wondering like, hey, that's not the fucking full team. I know. Okay, bye.